Hello everyone, welcome to Real Reds Talk. Happy weekend if you are tuning in now, or if you're tuning in later on, you know, whatever it is you're doing, because you're probably busy as it is the weekend. This afternoon's segment is basically going to be about Christian Eriksen, as he's just announced that he's going to leave Manchester United at a very weird time. I definitely want to get into that. I want to discuss Bruno Fernandes. There's a couple of quotes coming out as he's with Portugal in a minute on international duty. We've got some kind of breaking news in terms of rules being changed in the Premier League, which I want to get a talk about. And of course, as well, before we do any of that, it would have been Sir Bobby Charlton's birthday today, would have been 87. You know, someone who's a World Cup winner, Ballon d'Or winner, European Cup, FA Cup, enormous in terms of what he's done for Manchester United and what we're built on. So just had to mention that at the start of the show. That would have been, and rest in peace, obviously, to Bobby Charlton as well. So, yeah, we're actually going to stick with midfielders, attacking midfielders, Shreyas. The story coming out in a minute, which is, again, a really bizarre timing. I don't know if you agree with this. Christian Eriksen has confirmed he will leave United at the end of the season. I think that was to a Danish outlet, I think. Bizarre that, isn't it? And what are your thoughts on that, and what are your thoughts on him so far this season?
I just don't know whether there was a need for, putting that out at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting regular minutes at the club for the first time, I would say, since last season. You're practically a guaranteed
Now's
start.
the time to say you're going to stay, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think his contract runs out as well. He's leaving on a free pretty much, I guess. So it wouldn't really matter as much when it comes to, the financial side of things. And yeah, I just don't know what's the need for putting it out. I mean, earlier on last season as well, I think it was floated out by Eriksen himself that he'll be leaving the club when the season ends because he wants regular minutes and he wants to play at a club where he's picked week in and week out. And now he's getting that at United after quite some time. And he's actually having quite a very decent season as well. He's getting goals, he's getting assists as well, playing very deep as a deep playmaker. So yeah, I think the timing's just a bit off.
Has it surprised you how well he's done this season?
It surprised me how well Eriksen has played, and it has surprised me how bad we've been as well at the same time. And I mean, Eriksen is one of our top performers. Johnny Evans has been one of our best performers on the pitch. So,
old but gold is what they say, Shreyas. Old but gold.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you've got these guys actually overperforming, and when you look at the rest of the pitch, and you see the kind of performances that we've been pulling up with on the pitch, just doesn't sit right. And when you see, when you see players like Eriksen and Johnny Evans actually, performing at that level, and then you see players like Bruno Fernandes, players like Rashford, your Højlunds and Xerxes not being able to pull through for you against oppositions, it just doesn't provide you with a positive headspace, whether you're a fan, whether you're a player, or whether you're even the manager. So I hope that he can keep on this form. He can stay injury free as well for the rest of the season, because at the moment he's doing quite well, and we need some consistency in that midfield line.
Yeah, agreed. As I mentioned to you before, my camera did decide to kind of do one. But luckily, we've got a backup camera because we're professionals on this. So if you bear with me 2 seconds, just whilst I did have it set up, but then it's just decided to be a bit weird. There we go. Sorted. And then I can turn my lighting on, and then we can get back like nothing ever happened. I mean, people, to be fair, who've been on this channel should be used to this by now. So, yeah. Where have you gone? Is your connection gone now?
No.
All right, you've... on the screen. Oh, there we go. You're all right now. You've come back. Just had to turn that light on to make myself not as dark. Apologies, people, for any of those technical issues, but we move. Right, we're going to... before actually I got on to Bruno Fernandes, I want to give my take on Christian Eriksen, because I think it's a weird one. When everyone got asked about it in the summer, 5-0 Ajax, the majority of people was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, it's not even a no-brainer. Just take the 5-0, reinvest it in the squad, blah, blah, blah. I think something that's always been in the back of my mind is that quote from Erik ten Hag on when he took Casemiro off. I can't remember. You've got a much better memory than I have.
Yeah. I think it was against Brentford last year when McTominay scored the 2 minutes in injury time and we won, and he said he wants total football on the pitch. That's why he took Casemiro off and got Eriksen on. Yeah,
and I think I'll even go back to like the Frenkie de Jong signing, where he wanted someone who can receive it in areas, who can, kind of dictate. I know there's slightly different players, and De Jong offers a bit more off the ball, but you could tell why he wanted that player, because he needs someone to break the lines. He needs someone to control the game, and Christian Eriksen could do that. But it's always been with him, his efforts off the ball, innit? The physical capacities he's always struggled with. But do you reckon you could do a job as a 10 at United? Because this is Sam and Chivy have always mentioned this, but I don't know if I'm convinced in the big games.
I think he can do a job, and I think even in the big games he can do a job. But the team needs to be set up differently. You cannot play Christian Eriksen as a 10 where you expect him to do all the legwork, where you expect him to cover ground, where you expect him to be, covering every blade of the grass. If you put Eriksen in a system where you've got two midfielders behind him who can, you know, actually fight for the ball and get it back, be press resistant, and pretty much just provide Eriksen with the ball at the right moments, he can still do a very good job. Because when it comes to his vision, when it comes to his passing ability, and when it comes to, the way he's able to retain possession in the opposition half as well, no one in our team can do that the way he does it. So if we play a system where you've got like Ugarte and Casemiro just sitting deep behind him, it can work. But you just need to change the way you've got to play to get the best out of Eriksen as that 10.
Yeah, I mean, they're still obviously trying to find the midfield balance at the moment, aren't they? And I think they're struggling a little bit, but yeah, who knows? We might come back. Ugarte might be fit and firing already, and we might not have to play Eriksen as much. Because for him, I think that should have been a world record in itself. Him playing 5 games in a row. It was like probably, the first time he's done it since when he first came in on a free. And I thought when he did come in, first 6 months, shrewd business, wasn't it? Really, really good. I think people were happy with it, bringing in someone like that. But for him to be our main guy now, and will probably start against Brentford, is also a little bit concerning, because I don't think he gets in any of the top teams. And that's not disrespect to Eriksen. I think he's a good player. But yeah, moving on to the spearhead of that midfield, Shreyas. Bruno Fernandes been speaking with Portugal. I'm sure you've seen the quotes, but I'll read them out for the benefit of the chat. He was speaking about, the incidents with the red cards and stuff. He said, when I spoke about the bad moment, it was in relation to the 2 expulsions in the same week, which I thought was unfair. The first was withdrawn, and the second, because it was a yellow card, was not. But these are the things part of football, and I cannot think about that. I took responsibility for that moment, the red cards, because especially against Tottenham, I left my teammates with one less player chasing the result. Do you think those red cards and stuff, do you think he's... Because we know Bruno Fernandes is an emotional player in it. Do you think it is a case of he's trying too much at times?
I don't think that I don't even think he's trying too much at times. He's just frustrated on the pitch. And you can see it on his face as well, that he's really, really frustrated, because things are just not working out for us on the field. And with Bruno, the thing is, and I've seen it in a lot of games as well, there are a lot of games that he started quite sharply. He started quite well. You can see him being involved a lot. You can see him making some very good passes. But after that, 30, 35th minute mark, when we are not able to convert, when we are not able to, capitalize on the chances that we get, you can see that frustration setting in. And that's when, you see all those Hollywood passes. You see him trying too hard. You see him trying to, complicate his game a bit too much, where you genuinely just need to simplify it a bit. And that's where things actually do go wrong, because Bruno is a very good player. He's probably one of the best players that we've got at the moment in our club. And when he does play well, you don't really need anyone else to even perform, because he can just carry out the game by himself. But I just think that the way things are going for us at the moment, he's not the type of captain who can, step up when things are not going your way.
What kind of captain do you want? Like, who do you see as a leader in, let's say, just in the Premier League or even Real Madrid or something like that? Who would you admire as a captain's leader? Who would give you that kind of inspiration? And try not to say a Liverpool player or anyone like that, or a City player.
I mean, I loved Sergio Ramos at Madrid. Yeah, and
great choice.
The thing is, it did whenever Madrid used to play, they could be 2-0 down, and it could be the 89th minute, but
he'd score.
Yeah, exactly, and he'd be unfazed. Like, you can see pressure setting into players and captains as well in those moments at the highest stages as well, like Champions League finals and semi-finals. You could look at his face and you could just feel it, that something is going to happen in the next 2 minutes itself, and the game would just completely turn. And even in the league right now, I think those type of captains are rare to find.
Missing.
Yeah, they're very rare to find, and even in the Premier League, I don't see it at the top clubs either. Like United, we've got Bruno, who I think is the captain who can lead by performance. When he's playing well, he can elevate the level of the team because when he's playing well, he's probably the best player on the pitch. You see at Liverpool, I don't see that sort of character either. I don't see it with Arsenal. I don't see it with City either.
I
So I
think
just, yeah,
I think back in the day, you could name more captains. You know, Gerrard, captain of Liverpool. You know, John Terry was the captain of Chelsea. Roy Keane, Gary Neville with us, whoever it was at the time. Arsenal, go back to the 90s with like Tony Adams, Patrick Vieira, these kind of guys. Like, you knew who the figureheads was. I do think I mean, I'd slightly disagree a little bit in the Prem. I think there's a couple you could pick up, but not as many, I would
yeah,
probably say. I think we definitely, for sure, lack it. I don't see Bruno Fernandes as that go-to guy. I really don't. I mean, in terms of statistical output, we know he's right up there. But with Manchester United, and this isn't like a xenophobic thing or anything like that, but we've always had like a British core of players. So,
yeah,
but blended with, you know, foreign stars and international. You think about even in the 90s again, someone like Eric Cantona, Peter Schmeichel, French, Danish players, like experienced, you know, they were like the stars almost, but then you had like your Nicky Butts, Gary Neville's, and them guys blended in with them. I look at United squad right now, and I don't see it. I just don't see that blend. I don't see that experience. I don't see that leadership at all.
I don't see that quality either of the core, like you
No.
mentioned right now with the players that you had when foreign stars used to come to United, there was such a good and stable core at the team that even if they didn't really hit the ground running when they came in, they had a very good environment to integrate and blend in with the team.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not there, and that's why I think there is added pressure on any signing that we make for them to work out. Because if they don't work out, every single media outlet have their number one target as a United signing.
Sorry, I was adjusting
Yeah,
my seat there. Right, we have expanded off into the captain chat there, but I do think it was a great point that you made. I want to bring it back to the quotes with Bruno. He said it's not just about the national team, which is where I feel increasingly good and where I can enjoy my football due to the dynamics and quality that I have by my side, which you touched on before, Shreyas, with Portugal. At the club, I have to improve as soon as I get there. The goals will come, and I also have to take responsibility for that. I have scored a high level of goals at United in recent years, and I also have a standard that I want to maintain. I hope to score as soon as I get there to help the club return to winning ways. Now, this might sound bizarre to people, and again, I don't know if you agree with this. The goals from him at the moment, I'm not actually bothered about that much. I mean, like, I would like him to contribute more, score outside the box, you know, get a few more assists, definitely. I think his overall performance has been the main concern, has it not, Shreyas?
yeah, I think it has. It genuinely has been because I get what he's trying to say,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
right now there are bigger problems we've got at the moment. And
Mm-hmm.
look, if Bruno can start scoring, it really helps us out a lot because even I know that when he starts scoring as well, he's not the type that's going to score in one game, disappear for the next three.
Yeah,
He's a momentum sort of player. He builds,
definitely.
builds, 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 and it keeps going. But right now, I just want to see him have a good full 90 minutes, like a complete game. Even if he's not scoring or assisting, I think right now we just need consistent performances from him on the pitch. And especially when things are not going your way, you've had 3 or 4 very decent opportunities and we are not scoring, but he's still able to maintain that level of quality. He's still able to maintain that level of precision in the game. I think that is what is more important right now because look, even I know that even if he's having a bad season, by the time the season ends, he'd still be, in double digits when it comes to goals and assists.
Yeah.
He's able to do it one way or another.
He's
So
done it in the
I
worst of seasons, and so you know that's
yeah,
it's going to happen. Yeah,
yeah,
it's true.
he's been getting like 15 goals, 11 assists, 14 goals, 13 assists
Yeah,
in the worst patches of United's history. So
yeah.
I think I know he's going to pull through with us with the stats once again by the time the season ends, but I just want a complete like good full 90 minutes of Bruno Fernandes on the pitch right now on a consistent basis week after week.
Yeah, I think the fact that he plays for Manchester United is another thing as well, because I'm not comparing him as players, but I look at Phil Foden, for example, who got player of the season last year. What has he done this season so far? Fuck all. I know it took a couple of weeks and he missed the first couple of games or what have you, but you hear nothing about that whatsoever,
Yeah.
whereas Bruno Fernandes, has a bad start to the season and everyone's on about it, everyone's talking about it, so I do think there is a certain narrative and pressure that comes with United, and especially because he's the captain as well, but I look at in his position right now, the reason why it kills me so much is because I look at someone like Cole Palmer, who's just one player in a month. And I look at, other teams who they have. Odegaard obviously is injured at the minute, but when he is there, he's unbelievable. De Bruyne, when he's not injured, is unbelievable as well. And then I'm like, Bruno, I expect that. That's my standards for him. I expect him at least near that level. And I don't think
The
he
thing is, it's not even about standards. The thing is, he can do it. He's done it.
Yeah.
And even I think it was De Bruyne last season who said that Bruno is like a creative machine. He rates him higher than Madison as well as Odegaard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we all know he's got it. I think the more frustrating part for me about Bruno is that in this international break, I know he's going to be perhaps the best player for Portugal. And he does it every single international break.
And
Whenever
look
he
at the
plays for
talent
Portugal.
that Portugal
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. And I've seen him play right wing for Portugal and come up with 3 to 4 assists a game. So maybe I don't know whether it's the system, whatever it is, but I think getting the best out of Bruno is a major concern for us because if he's not performing, it creates a big, big gap for us in that attacking third.
When we talk about specifics, what I know we've been through them briefly, but what really irritates you about Bruno? What do you need to see more? What does he need to improve on? What are the sticky points? Because I know what I have in mind, but I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I think first thing he just needs to simplify his game because when it comes to creativity, he's perhaps one of the best in the league. When it comes to creating chances, when it comes to finding those, he's got very good vision. He's got a brilliant IQ of the game as well. I think he just needs to simplify his game. He needs to keep calm on his emotions as well. I think the emotions it genuinely gets the best of him in the big moments. And I've seen it happen against Spurs. I've seen it happen against Liverpool. I've seen it happen even against Palace, I would say as well. The one chance he didn't convert when I think Eriksen put it on a plate for him and he missed. Throughout the game, he was just frustrated. Throughout the game, he
Casemiro
was just
as
frustrated.
well did against Fulham. Played him in, didn't he? Missed 2 chances.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think he needs to back himself. And as the captain, I think I know an added pressure does come to you as captain, but there is a reason why you were picked for this position. And the reason why he was picked for this position was that when it comes to, performances and everyone being at the top of their games, he is the one who ranks first when everybody is, even when everyone's, on form. If he can't lead with his performances, then there is a massive issue that happens. So I just think genuinely he needs to simplify his game. Make those short passes. Just try and build your confidence up. And because assists and stats wise, he's going to pull through. And I think even he knows it as well. That even if he doesn't play as good as he can, he'll still pull up with 10 goals, 10 assists, or 15 goals, 15 assists by the end of the season. So I just want him just to calm down a bit, simplify his game, and just try and maintain the wavelength of the game for the entire 90. No need to go over aggressive in the first 20-25 minutes and just be invisible for the rest of the game.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. And more people joining the chat. Please do smash a like on the video for us. It is the weekend, so I imagine that's why it's a little bit quiet over in there. But get your opinions in about Bruno Fernandes. How you see him as the captain? Do you see him bouncing back so far this season? I wanted to last question on this, Shreyas. I wanted to ask, when do you think he's played his best football? And why?
I think hands down under Oli, he played his best football.
Why?
Because he played very, very close to the striker and that opposition box. I rarely used to see Bruno, the heat map that Bruno had under Oli. You could see that 60 to 70% of his heat map used to be around that opposition box.
Yeah, as a 10.
As a 10. And under Ten Hag, 70 to 80% of his heat map is not even near the opposition box.
Yeah.
It's near our box, or it's just the midline. And you can't get the best out of Bruno Fernandes if he's not playing behind the striker.
Yeah.
Whenever Bruno is playing behind the striker, Højlund will have a lot of joy. Xerxes will have a lot of joy. Rashford has a lot of joy whenever Bruno is around the box as well, because he knows how to create those direct chances for the wingers as well as the striker. And when he did come in under Oli and he played as a traditional 10, I would say as well, he used to help out defensively a lot. He used to put in a lot of legwork, but it used to be near that 60 or 70% mark of the opposition field. And when he linked up with Martial that way, Martial scored like 23 goals that season. Yeah. Rashford got 20 goals that season as well. Greenwood got 17 goals that season. So he raised the output of every single attacker that we had at that point in our team.
As a number
And
10 should do. They're the supplier, right?
yeah, yeah. And now under Ten Hag, he's playing a lot deeper. It's very rare that I see Bruno around that opposition box.
Stretched in it.
His
That's the issue.
Yeah, his ability to score, he has the ability to score, those long range goals, but I hardly see him doing those sort of efforts now. So
I,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think of Ollie's football, and the issue that we had with Ollie's football, like you just touched on there, the attack wasn't connected to the midfield. So what we had with them, we had McFred sat in front of a back four, right, and those stuck together. And then we would soak up pressure a lot of the time, and if we managed to get it to a Bruno, he then had the cherry picking almost. He could just play through whoever. Whereas with Ten Hag, it is the back line is deep. There's one guy in the midfield, and then the rest are on the edge of the 18-yard box, basically. So there's gaps both ways. So functioning as a 10, if you don't have the proper structure behind you, if you look at how Arsenal defend as a unit together, very compact, and when they pick it up straight away, he's got a network of passing with Havertz, Saka, whoever it is, triangles, and they can build the way up. I don't feel like we have that, and that, again, that comes from coaching. So let me ask you this. Right now, which way would you rather watch us play football? The way we did under Ole or the way we did under Ten Hag?
Ten Hag in his first season, yes.
But right now?
Right now, I would pick Ollie's. Right now, at the moment, I would pick Ollie's because I know Ollie's game used to be a boring watch on a lot of occasions, but we didn't used to concede.
Sometimes it was all right.
Yeah, but
a boring watch against the teams who, yeah.
Teams that used to play a low block.
Yes.
We used to struggle a lot. It used to be very, very boring and excruciating to watch. But we didn't used to concede many goals under Ollie. Genuinely, like I know when I know it got very bad by the time by the time his tenure ended. But in Ollie's main years at United, when he finished third, when he finished second, we rarely used to concede over 2 goals to teams. Genuinely, we used to rarely concede over 2 goals, and I'm talking big teams as well. Even they didn't really used to, have as much joy in front of our goal because
the big teams, didn't we?
Yeah, because we were very organized in midfield, and like you mentioned, we had McFred and we had the back four who used to stay in shape. The fullbacks never used to progress further, and used to they used to be tucked in alongside Lindelof and Maguire. So it was a very organized shape, and that's why at the end it got a bit too predictable because every single person knew that if you swarm Bruno in midfield, there's no one there who can create even a single chance for them. That's when it actually got a bit too tough on us. But apart from that, when it comes to defending, he was probably it was probably the best time that we had defensively. Even though things used to look shaky, we still didn't used to concede a lot of goals or chances.
Yeah, the counter attack was killer as well, wasn't it? In especially European nights, you look at PSG being the prime example of that under Ole, one of the best games that he
Leipzig
had.
As well.
Leipzig, Man City when we played them. But like you said, we've never. The thing is, United, and I think this is a reoccurring theme. We can never have the best of both worlds. So if we have a midfielder who's really good at breaking up play, he'll be shit on the ball. Ugarte, Fred. Do you know what I mean? Like great at breaking up play, but not the best on the ball. We had a defender before Majari came in Wan-Bissaka and Dalot, who one was good going forward on the ball, and then one was just really good at 1v1 defending. You want to almost put it together, and it's like we can never have everything in unison as a team. It's like we're good at defending or we're good at attacking. We're never good at both. Like this season, we're shit at both. We've conceded loads of goals and we're not scoring enough. Whereas under Ole, it was like okay, we're not conceding loads because Ten Hag's conceded like 3 or more in like 24 more games, I think it is. But we're not scoring loads at times against a team with a low block. So I just want to find a nice balance of both where we're we're scoring and keeping clean sheets. I can't remember the last time we've done that. Scored quite a few goals in a game and kept a clean sheet. When have we done it? Obviously, we beat Fulham 1-0, clean sheet, but that's one goal, and that was a very flaky game.
Even under Ten Hag, we've had a lot of 2-1 wins. Like in his course, even if you look at it through his first season as well, a lot of wins we've had, the good wins as well. It's been 2-1.
Yeah.
Or 1-0s or 2-1s.
3 times he may have got 4 or more goals. So Barnsley, let's go through this. Barnsley 7-0. Betis, Real Betis we beat 4-1, did we?
Real Betis we beat 4-1.
Villa 4-2 in the cup, maybe.
Yeah,
Underwent, yeah.
Leicester we beat 3-0 or something as well.
Did we? Leicester 3-0.
Yeah, when Bruno played on the right and he was chipping balls to Rashford, he got a brace or something, and Sancho
Sancho was
scored
a
as well.
10.
Yeah.
Right, okay, yeah. And apart from that,
And
you struggled
last year we beat West Ham 3-0.
We beat 3-0. I thought we got beat off West Ham last year.
We got beat at their stadium. Then in the return fixture, Hoyland scored and Garnacho scored a brace when Hoyland, Menu, and Garnacho did that
Oh,
picture.
yeah, correct. But the point of it is, it's very
It's
few
been rare.
between. It's very rare in it. And goals have significantly dried up. And I'm always scratching my brain to say, is it the coaching, or are these players not good enough in those attacking areas? Do you think a coach would come in now and start getting a lot of goals out of that front line?
Under Ten Hag, we've only scored 57 or 58 goals in the league
Yeah.
up until now.
And how many did Arsenal City get? 100 was it or something? 90 odd?
80 plus every single year. So yeah, and you can just see, 30, 35 goals is a massive difference.
Yes.
Like a massive difference. And
Yeah.
I would say this: Oli had a worse attacking lineup when he came in to the team than what Ten Hag actually had. Because Ten Hag, Rashford had a 30-goal season when he just came in, and apart from that, he had the likes of Garnacho coming through from the ranks, a very talented prospect. You had Anthony was his signing as an 80 million signing. He had Jadon Sancho, so he has had attacking flair in there. No doubt about it. I think when it came to Oli, it was a bit worse because everything was a mess when he actually did come in. Ten Hag came in,
Everyone's picked up a mess, though, aren't they? Every manager that's come in has picked up like a pile of shit, basically.
Exactly, but I think some of it does come down to coaching as well. Because when I see the type of strikers and wingers we've got at the moment, Ahmad is a very good playmaker on the right hand side, and there's no doubt about it that he's got a massive ceiling on him. Garnacho the same as well. He's a very direct winger, and he's got a massive ceiling, no doubt about it. He's got it in his attitude, he's got it in his style of play as well. Rashford, when he's consistent, gets you a lot of goals. Hoyland and Xerxes, both of them are very talented prospects. Xerxes is not your traditional goal scoring outlet as a number 9, but he's someone who can get the best out of these wingers. So
do you think we overrate our attackers though?
I don't think we overrate our attackers. I think they underperform a lot.
Okay, because so you don't think the coach is getting the best out of them at the minute?
No, because even when you look at the opportunities that we've had this season itself, we missed a lot of chances. A lot of chances in those areas. And in some of those moments, we've seen it a lot as well. Hesitation to pass at the right moment, clinging onto the ball for 5 to 6 seconds extra, and then the chance is completely off, or an offside trap is set in place. These are the things that you need to work on, and that does come through coaching. When it comes to finishing off your chances, that comes down to clinicality and the player itself. That when you're in front of goal, you need to convert. But when it comes to building it out, when it comes to making those incisive passes and those last minute decisions when you're in front of the opposition goal, I think a lot of it does come down to coaching.
Yeah. Oh God, I hope he comes back with a bang. I mean, to be honest, I always said I wanted Bruno when he did get that red card. It sounds bad, but I wanted him to have a couple of games off, be fresh. Because he seems like he needs that, doesn't he? He looks like he never, ever has a rest. He's constantly like one of those people who just wants to be on that hamster wheel and never, ever get off it. But I do think he could do with a couple of games out. But he's going to be playing with Portugal, and no doubt when we return, he'll be starting against Brentford. I want to discuss the last thing, Shreyas, the Premier League. So there's been some breaking news today. The following is set to be introduced by the Premier League. They're set to introduce a certain amount of rules for all Premier League clubs, right? So half-time interview with a player or coach. Interviews for players who are subbed off, dressing room broadcast details. So I understand that the half-time interview can be with the assistant manager potentially, and clubs have to choose one of the 3 options listed above every single week. So, and I see someone comment before, you're going to laugh at this. He says, if we're losing 3-0 at half-time, I just imagine Ten Hag coming to do the interview saying we won 2 trophies.
I see it happening.
Eric, you 3 down. What's going on? Trophies. Clear. Huh? Trophies. I feel sorry for you. Clear, huh? Oh, my God. But what are your thoughts on that? Can you imagine half-time interview with a player or coach? Would you be interested in that as a viewer?
it happens a lot in cricket. Like
Okay.
it happens a lot in cricket, and I've seen and it's not something that's even new. It's been happening since the 2010s, 11s. That when
Less
one any
intense though at cricket, do you think? Like in comparison, no. Do you think it's more feral at cricket than football?
yeah, because
Really?
yeah, it becomes a lot more feral in cricket because when it comes to cricket,
I,
it happens more on the international scene. That when especially when you are a home team, and I've seen it happen a lot of times as well. The captain, getting hit with plastic bottles on the pitch
yeah.
while he's trying to do the interview. You can see the entire crowd roaring slurs
Ah.
towards the captain as well. It's happened a lot. A lot it's happened. And it's not just in India as well, it's happened all around the globe.
I can
So
imagine that at Anfield. Bruno getting bottles lobbed at his head. You could just see it, can't you? To try fucking distract him at half
exactly.
time.
And yeah, imagine it's some Liverpool Manchester United game as history suggests, we are like 2-0 or 3-0 down at half time.
Yep.
And you've got Bruno Fernandes coming to do an interview, as
Mm.
frustrated and petulant as he can be at that moment. We all know how it's going to end.
Yeah. Well, I was just about to say that to you. I was like, in reality, for United, even specific, it might be good for other clubs, but for United right now, if there was interviews at half time, we've seen Garnacho go off fuming, we've seen Bruno go off shaking his head. Rashford, there was someone lip synced his thing the other day, didn't they? And he was saying he's going mad. And I don't know if he speaks about the manager, but one can only presume. So in the heat of the moment, when players are feeling emotional like that, if you go up to them with a camera and a microphone in the face and you're like, what's going on? I have and this is probably why the broadcasters want to do it. I have a feeling they're going to get quite a few snippets at that time.
They will for
And
sure.
I don't think the managers will like that at all.
I don't think they'll like it, but it'll happen for sure. If
Yeah.
this actually does happen, they'll have a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I think for United, it's bad whether it's in between the match or post match, because you could, with us, the problem is we could be leading 2-0 or 3-0 at halftime, and by the time the game ends, we probably would have drawn the game or lost 4-3.
Well, I know from first-hand experience. So obviously, my job now, I'm hosting fives live, like five-side live, and we had a result yesterday. It was very, very like feisty, teams going at it, and after it, not one person wanted to speak. Like, so we did pre-match interviews, and we was like, chatting to him. And after it, when it came up, not one person wanted to because they lost on that team. He was like, nah, don't put that camera in my face. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the last thing for a viewer, I think it'd be great. I'd love to see an halftime interview with the player or the coach, or get their thoughts at a minute, because I think it's a little bit more of a deep dive, a little bit more insight. But the clubs won't want that. I don't think it's good for the team.
They
personally.
wouldn't. Like, imagine it's the final match week, and Arsenal are at like about 84 or 85 points, and City are just 2 points ahead. And once again, Arsenal bottle it at the end, and you've got a commentator going towards Mikel Arteta and saying, "How does it feel to lose the league again?"
Third time in a row. How does it feel, Mikel? Talk to us. He's like, get the fuck out my face, and he's a character in himself. So yeah, I think we're both aligned on that, aren't we? Great for us as consumers, as viewers, and great for broadcasters because more clicks, more engagement, I suppose. But for teams, not great. But who knows? Who knows? We might. The project is to win the league by 2028, Shreyas. So we might be all right next year or the year after, according to Ineos and co. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. Right, we're going to be back again live tonight, or maybe there'll be a pre-record but out tonight. I'm not sure yet. We need to discuss it with the lads, but there will be content for you. I'm currently halfway through editing a video, which is basically how United could line up under Ruud van Nistelrooy as an interim manager. Watch me when I go to drop this. It'll get announced that Ten Hag's definitely staying, and I'll look like an idiot because that's what usually happens. But I'll get that out over the weekend for you members. If you want to become a member, click the join button next to the notification bell, and become a part of the Real Red Ultras. Big up to the current members as well. Big up to Shreyas. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Check us out on socials for regular updates on any kind of injuries or anything around United on Instagram, Twitter.
Injuries.
Yeah. It will be injuries, won't it? Let's be honest. Yeah, that's all that comes up in the news. But yeah, apart from that, stay locked, and we'll see you a little bit later on. Cheers for being involved in the chat and that. Yeah.